Well, here's some reality today. In California, and Obi will vouch for me. In California, when something goes awry or something goes wrong, they will always tell you, now let's go deeper. Let's figure out if it's some story left over from childhood, maybe an issue with your mom or dad, maybe, something you needed to learn still, a lesson from childhood. Maybe God, the universe was giving it to you so you can move forward. And they'll sit there and they'll engage that conversation with you. Hell, they'll take your money, man. Go to a therapist in LA and they will take your fucking money. They'll tell you that this was your path to be on because you needed to learn this lesson because your soul from 3 lifetimes ago needed to have this lesson. Okay. So I've been living in California now for 20 years. I go back to New York and I tell them a story about something that might be going on in my life. And I look at them and I say, I've had this issue going on and it's really, something still with my mom and my dad. And I'm able to now stand up for myself and I didn't stand up for my mom and my dad and blah, blah, blah. And then my friend in New York will look at me and go, no, you fucked up. Well, no, what do you mean I fucked up? In California, nobody wants to take responsibility saying they fucked up. They want everything to happen for a reason. And in New York, if you carry that same conversation anywhere on the East Coast, they look at you and go, what are you, a fucking moron? You didn't do what? Oh my God, you had a business deal and you didn't get that paperwork signed or this signed? Oh, you fucked up. In California, they look at you and go, well, God and the universe really wanted you to complete something with your mother. And your inner child needed to go through that lesson. So you repeat it back in New York and tell them that you feel better on your next trip and say that God and the universe, they look and go, no, you really just fucked up. Sometimes in life, man, you just fuck up, right? I mean, you grew up in California. Mm-hmm. I just feel like sometimes I fucked up. And even when I tell people I fucked up, like even when I admit it, like it feels really good to admit it. Like, hell, I fucked up. I trusted a scumbag. And it didn't. And they went and they backstabbed me. Okay? I fucked up. It's my fault for trusting somebody. It's totally my fault. I fucked up. But you've lived here in this fucking Golden State where the weather just makes people's brains fucking shot. What do you feel about this coming from? Because as a New Yorker and always a New Yorker, I tell my California friends that, with something that bothers me and I look at them and I feel good admitting it. I fucked up. Like I feel really good about that. Like I'm actually feeling like okay when I admit it. Like you see I'm smiling. Like I fucked up. Yeah, I fucked up. I was stupid. I trusted somebody who turned into being a low-life scumbag. I fucked up. I was wrong. I judged somebody the wrong character. I thought they were something that they weren't. I fucked up. One slipped right by. It's like sperm slips by the goalie sometimes, right? One just slipped right by me. I fucked up. You hear football players all the time, like, they don't say, like, Brady won't look and just go, well, I knew I threw that pass in the end zone, but it had nothing to do with me fucking up. It had to do with the fact that I have issues with my mother. And I threw that pass and I saw my mother standing there. And instead of drilling the ball to Gronk, I saw the defender and it looked like my mom. So I soft tossed it. And well, obviously I still have some issues of healing with my mother because I just gave her the AFC championship game. And I will, no, they say they fucked up, right? Like good athletes will look and just go, yeah, I fucked up. I threw a bad pass. I fucking didn't see the coverage. I fucked up. But everything else seems to be a lesson. So where is your point on this as a California native?
I think we're inherently positive here. I just think there's something about, wanting to see the sun, the brighter side of the situation, as opposed to just feeling really shitty about it. Because, you might personally smile after saying that you fucked up, but I know a lot of people that when they feel like they fucked up, it might make them go the other way. They're like, damn, I'm a fucking, I think it all obviously comes on your self-talk, but you're like, damn, I'm a loser, or damn, I'm not making right decisions right now, and oh, this is bad, and they might put a darker spin on it, and so it's a way to make the situation feel better by saying, okay, there's a reason for this. There's something else behind it. I fucked up, sure, but there's some greater lesson for me to learn here, and that greater lesson means that this bad thing, this thing that I would see as bad, maybe isn't so bad. It kind of lessens the blow.
Okay. I will never do it again. I got to tell you one thing, okay? I remember the two of my biggest fuck-ups came in California. Never in New York for some odd reason or another, right? Interesting. I remember back in 97, yeah. I got into a business deal with this guy. We didn't sign anything, and he ripped me off $70,000. Yeah. And I fucked up, right? So I went to an attorney, and the attorney says, what are the options, right? And I think attorneys suck. I think they're the biggest fucking criminals in the entire world, right? I just don't like them as a whole. I have attorney friends. I love them, but I just think attorneys are just, most of them, well, it depends. I mean, there are good attorneys, and then there are the whole scum of the earth, the divorce attorney. They're like the good humor truck that sells, poison ice cream to children. Yeah. They are, they're the house that you go to on Halloween and they put a razor blade in a fucking apple. That's a divorce attorney, right? They're scum of the earth. I'm sure there's some good ones. Please, if there's a good one out there and an honest one, contact me. Prove me wrong, because I just think I've talked to enough of you, and I just find you're bottom feeders, beyond bottom feeders. I'd rather hang out with one of my best friends is a slip and fall. I think slip and fall people are a lot better because they're at least attacking the big corporations trying to get help for somebody who slipped and fall, right? Divorce attorneys, all they try to do is just fucking make two people go broke, just for the sake of arguing over some kid that used to be cute that's caught in the middle. The kid doesn't look too cute after it's been caught in the middle for a couple of years, right? Kid looks like a fucking abused ping pong ball at that point. But I understand the whole spinning it positive, because back in 97, I lost all that money, and then I went to an attorney, and he was a friend of my cousin's, and I remember, and I said to him, what are options? He goes, how much money do you have left? I said, honestly, I got like 20 grand left to my name. I mean, I had to start all over again, right? And he says, we spent on legal fees chasing this guy for 70 grand. He says, but we'll probably never get it. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, you're right. So I'm leaving your office right now. I shook his hand. And the very next day, I felt regenerated. It was over. Like, I realized I fucked up. I never fucked up like that again. I fucked up different ways, right? But I never fucked up like that again, because we all as human beings fuck up, right? And people right now listening to it going, God, I hate when he curses. Well, okay, I bleeped up. And I remember literally like a month later, I was back making money again. After I lost a lot of money in a business, like a couple of ventures, and I was back making money because my brain and my mind was clear. I wasn't thinking about chasing bad money. Did this person get over on me? Abso-fucking-lutely. My ego didn't like that, right? But a year later, I saw Gerard. Yeah, Gerard, I remember your name. I saw Gerard in a cafe in Del Mar, and he looked like he aged 15 years. So a California goes, you see, the universe got even with him. Because it's the truth. Scummy people who are hustling people and fucking not full of integrity will eventually get what is coming their direction.
Most definitely.
It always happens that way. Yeah. And it sucks being on the end where you were taken advantage of, but you allowed yourself to be taken advantage of because why? You fucked up. Now, I fucked up several times. I've lent people money that I shouldn't have lent money to. And of course, they pay you back. When you lend money to a friend, they just pay you back as slow as possible. They figure, well, we're friends. I don't need to pay you back fast. A bank, they'll pay back fast because they don't want their credit ruined. But a friend, they know we're not going to call the credit report or anything, so they'll give you $1 every 15 months. Hey, look, I'm really trying. Thank you. Wow, I can almost buy a pack of Bazooka bubblegum with that. Thank you so much. You learn lessons, and I think life is, and I think a lot of the time, if you have applied yourself in life and you actually live, then you're going to fuck up.
You have to fuck up. It's just part of life. You're not perfect. Like, what are you expecting? Like, that you're perfect and that all the decisions you make are going to be great?
No.
You're going to make a lot of stupid ass decisions, but then I mean, hopefully you learn from them. And I think that's what smart people do, is they look at the things that happen to them and then they learn from them. And then you don't make that same mistake again. You're going to make more mistakes, but you're not going to make the same mistake. And so it's like, I think I read something in this book. It was like, fail forward fast. Like, you're going to fail. Make sure you're going forward and do it quickly. And then you're going to learn from that.
So true.
So that's fine, man. If you made another $70,000 business fuck up, then you're a dumbass, right? Because you didn't learn from the first one. But just doing it the first time, that doesn't make you bad.
Oh, I probably got about 500 grand worth of fuck ups. I mean, but I've made a lot more than that. But there's if I think about the amount of fuck ups, 70, if I started adding it up, 70 here, 200 here, 100 here,
the same way.
I'd say $750,000 in my life with fuck ups. But then again, I've also been an entrepreneur for almost 30 years, right? So $750,000 in 30 years, if we really add it in, what is that? 30 into 750 is, God, 20 grand a year? 25,000, that's it? Jesus, $25,000 a year roughly, right? 25, 30,000, yeah, $25,000 a year of fuck ups. Mm-hmm. That's not that bad when you look at the long run. Actually, if it's $25,000 a year, and I'm not saying how much money I made or how much money I make, $25,000 a year is nothing. That's like $2,000 a month of fuck ups. That's like pennies, man, to me. So you got to reframe it. So there's a way to reframe it, but there's also a way to realize that it doesn't always have to be a deeper lesson. It has to just be maybe a final admittance. Maybe you needed a final lesson. You know, now I do everything, and you know, I don't do things with people I don't trust. You know, but then again, I trusted these people too. Then again, you fuck up. You know, as Kurt Warner says, you know, Kurt Warner was great. Sometimes you just fuck up, man. He was such a great quarterback, remember? He'd look after a 5-interception game and go, yeah, that sucked. You know, the good ones walk away from it and realize it's going to happen.
Yeah.
The bad ones live their life in their bubble. So I guess you can just say we all fuck up, right? That's the reality of today. Anyway, if you want to share your fuck-up stories, post it on the wall. If you'd like to share this podcast, please do. And if you don't like the way I curse, then I'm sorry. What else am I going to do? It doesn't sound as good if I say, I bleeped up. I bleeped up. I fucked up.